Pemirsa, saat ini saya masih berada di Indonesia Sharia Economic Festival 2024 atau ISEF. Tentunya terkait dengan perkembangan industri keuangan syariah tidak terlepas dari bagaimana kecukupan likuiditas di sistem keuangan syariah. Dan untuk mengulasnya, saat ini saya sudah bersama dengan Mr. Mohamad Safri Shahul Hamid dari International Islamic Liquidity Management atau IILM. Hello, Mr. Safri.
Hi, Assalamualaikum, Sasa.
Waalaikumsalam. I'm good. And how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, could you share to us the recent development in the IILM of the short-term sukuk insurance program and other liquidity management innovations to support the growth of the Islamic finance industry?
Sure, thank you, Sasa. I mean, IILM, or International Islamic Liquidity Management, was set up close to about 14 years ago. So we've been issuing sukuk, or Islamic bond, on a monthly basis, short-term sukuk with tenors ranging from 1 month to 12 months for the last almost coming to about 11 years consistently on a monthly basis. And the demand for our short-term sukuk has been growing, and the reason why we've been issuing sukuk on a monthly basis is to address one of the most critical pain points for Islamic finance markets, which are on the availability, or rather the lack of availability of Islamic liquidity instrument tools. So our papers are high quality liquid asset papers sought after by the Islamic banks in order for them to manage their liquidity. And when it comes to managing liquidity, as you're aware, liquidity management is one of the most important activities in all banks, Islamic or conventional banks, and the importance of sound liquidity management transcends individual banks, and any shortfall in the liquidity can cause serious, I would say serious problems to the banks, and hence why our papers have become a lot more sought after, especially in the last couple of years.
How does IILM address the unique liquidity needs of Islamic financial institutions, and how does it ensure that these products remains compliant with Sharia principles?
Well, that's a very good question. I mean, I think from IILM's perspective, I mean, it's important that our instrument, our sukuk, are globally compliant in the eyes of all the market participants globally, especially in the era where Islamic finance is still evolving, is still developing compared to our conventional peers. So what we've been doing is we have a Sharia board which is comprised of global scholars, global Sharia scholars, and they will basically sit on each of and every of our proposals to make sure that they comply with the strictest Sharia requirements. So that's one. Number two, our sukuk structures in a way is already in compliance and with the global Sharia requirements, and just to go back to what I said earlier, as a form of reaffirmation, you make sure that our Sharia board sits together, look at our papers, and then confirm and issue a pronouncement or Sharia certification to make sure that each and every sukuk that we basically issue to the market is in compliance with the strictest Sharia requirements.
You know, as demand for Sharia compliant products increases globally, how does IILM strategy to expand its capacity to fulfill Islamic financial institutions' broader range of liquidity needs?
Yeah, another brilliant question, Sasa. I mean, our role and our stature as a supra-backed international organization is to address this liquidity management challenges faced by the Islamic banks. And so as the sole body doing this globally in the Islamic finance world, so we have a very important mandate to plug the gaps, if you like, right, where liquidity management is concerned for the Islamic banks. So in order for us to be able to continue plugging the gaps, we need to expand the size of our short-term sukuk, right, so that more and more Islamic banks can benefit from our sukuk offerings. And in order for that to happen, we have to make sure that we have a much larger asset, right? So one of the initiatives that we have been embarking on since the beginning of this year is to expand, to ramp up on our assets so that we can issue a much larger short-term sukuk. Number two, on the investor side, as I said earlier, there are Islamic banks all over the world. But unlike conventional banks or conventional financial institutions, the rate of growth has been uneven. Right? The rate to which products are being made available in the respective jurisdictions are not at the similar pace. So we need to make sure that for those who are basically in the markets which are relatively underdeveloped, if you like, there's IILM, right? To basically go to those jurisdictions and try to plug the gaps where liquidity management is concerned. So on that point, one of the other initiatives that we're working on, the second initiative, is to deepen or expand the investor base. And by investor base, I'm actually referring to mainly the Islamic investors. And these investors can be in the form of Islamic banks as well as Islamic non-bank investor base.
Thank you, Mr. Safri, for your insightful perspective. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Demikianlah pemirsa ulasan terkait ekonomi dan industri keuangan syariah di Indonesia dan kontribusinya bagi industri keuangan syariah global, serta gambaran inovasi yang dibutuhkan untuk semakin mengembangkan industri keuangan syariah. Anda juga dapat berpartisipasi dalam mendukung pengembangan industri keuangan syariah dan industri halal dengan mengunjungi ISEF 2024 di Jakarta Convention Center. Karena acara ISEF ini masih akan berlangsung sampai hari Minggu 3 November 2024. Saya Andi Shalini, CNBC Indonesia, Beyond Business.